Alright, so the ninja arc seems to finally be over with this chapter because Saitama is putting the final nail in the coffin, but afterwards there's like a whole new story appearing with these big monsters that appear at the end of the chapter. This is like all brand new stuff. This hasn't even happened in the webcomic. So we're finally heading out into a brave new world at this point. So let's get into breaking this chapter down because it's pretty fun. So coming off the previous chapter, we saw that Blast intervened in the Tenito versus Flashy Flash and Sonic fight, took them all out. Coming into this chapter, we're seeing that of course they're still alive. That was Blast's whole intervention there. He was trying to prevent more killing, as he said was pointless. And just like in the webcomic, we see the Tenito hype up Empty Void, the leader of the ninja village. But going further, they say, right now he must be at your hideout waiting for us to bring him your heads. And it turns out, yeah, he is there. We've been talking about this the last 2 weeks because One and Murata decided to just straight up follow the webcomic continuity here, at least with how Empty Void's story wraps up. Because he did show up to Sonic's abandoned warehouse home place where Saitama was. And judging by that, you could have guessed how things were going to go. Saitama just one-taps him into the ground. It's over. It's actually a strong off-screen. If anyone followed Jujutsu Kaisen, that was like Sukuna's favorite move to do. And one of the things I pointed out before is that we were kind of seeing like a recurring theme in Saitama knocking the ninjas into the ground and then making like a Looney Tunes type crater out of them. But the little twist is that Blast already knew about this because before he shows up in the previous chapter to help Flashy Flash and Sonic against the Tenito, he had already been to Sonic's empty warehouse. And that makes sense because Blast knew the plan of the Tenito, that they were all going to show up at Sonic's warehouse place with Empty Void eventually. He like heard it through his earpiece. We still don't know how he was hearing that. I assume it's because Hellfire and Gale are like working with the Hero Association now and they were like wearing a wire or something. Just taking a guess. It still hasn't been confirmed in this chapter, but when he went there originally, he just found Saitama, who had already defeated Empty Void. But now it turns out that it actually wasn't the letter of challenge that Sonic had given the Flashy Flash. It was actually the letter of challenge that Sonic had given the Saitama. And then Blast had used Rover to like smell the letter, and then that led him to Sonic because he could do that. So we had some a little Pulp Fiction timeline stuff going on here. But something that's changing in the manga version of this Empty Void defeat is that he seems to still have his weapons with him. You can actually see like the indent of his swords. In the webcomic, I kept pointing out that Saitama like lays his arsenal out and then eventually gives his swords to Sonic and Flashy Flash. So that might mean that either Empty Void is going to get back up here, which would be pretty impressive, you know, after taking a casual shot from Saitama. Especially because Saitama straight up tells them that he's pretty sure he didn't kill Empty Void. And then maybe they get his arsenal at that point, or he just runs away, especially considering what happens at the end of this chapter. So after all of this, the Tenito like start laughing and thinking that it's like a joke or something, or they're lying, because they just totally believe that Empty Void can't be defeated by anyone. So then they try to attack Saitama, you know, as ninjas do, and Saitama just taps all of them at the same time. I don't know how this works, but it just does. He's Saitama. He can do whatever he wants. And we also get a little funny scene with Saitama and Sonic here, where Sonic's like, hey, Saitama, why are you even here? And Saitama's like, aren't you the one that sent me those creepy letters asking me to come over? And then Sonic's like, oh yeah, I did do that. So this is pretty much the resolution of the ninja stuff. It seems like the Tenito might even become good guys or something. I don't know. It seems like they're kind of going to have a redemption because, you know, they were brought up in the ninja village and brainwashed essentially by Empty Void and his men. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Mecha Japan. Mecha Japan is an online store that sells products from major Japanese franchises like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and many more, because they have over 30,000 high-quality products straight from Japan. You're going to be able to find rare or even very rare Japanese products exclusively on MechaJapan.com. And the best part is that they have great prices, offer worldwide shipping, and have an awesome customer service team that's very responsive and available to assist you in English. I recently just picked up Obelisk the Tormentor and Winged Dragon of Ra. I've been dying to get these, and Mecha Japan had them and for cheap. So now I finally completed my Egyptian god collection. In fact, so much of my collection is from Mecha Japan. I've gotten so many great things from them, and you can
and 2.
So guys, you can get some awesome anime or Japanese products for yourself by checking the link in the description, and make sure you use my code Zhoniin10 because you'll get $10 off any order over $100, and that's once per user. But anyway, suddenly the sky starts breaking apart, like implying that another dimension is opening or something. And Blast seems to know what this is, and suddenly we see like this gigantic tiger and turtle come through, and they have like these glowing aura eyes, which are very similar to what we saw in Empty Void's previous Retcon aesthetic, because he had received like powers from God. So I guess you just put 2 and 2 together here. These things are definitely avatars of God, or just creations of God to some extent. And Blast says, "I've wandered too far from my post." So I guess this means that since Blast has been away from his post, as he said, because we saw that he kind of like a lot of the time is keeping God at bay with like his team, his Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever, in another dimension. So I guess he can only stay away from that place for, I don't know, an hour or 2 or something. Because if he doesn't, then I guess God gains more access to his power or something, and his ability to like send these creatures through a dimension or whatever. We still don't know how it works exactly. We still don't even know what's going on with God and where he is and why they have to do what they're doing. I mean, we can theorize, but just going off of the actual manga, we don't know really much yet. But these 2 monsters send like this beam from their mouth, and then Rover like attacks them back with his own beam, and they have a beam clash, and at the end of the chapter, like, it explodes, and this is like some serious damage. This is like first arc level city damage that we're seeing here. Luckily, this is like in the abandoned area, so there's probably not any civilians here that are going to die from this. Blast is there too, so he could just protect you with his barriers, or he could just warp you out or whatever. So it's like, this is the safest place anyone could be in the One Punch Man world, right here with Saitama and Blast. But like I said, that's where the chapter ends, and this is pretty fascinating. So I don't know what to make of this tiger and turtle. It's very possible that they're the same thing as Overgrown Rover. Like, God found just these regular animals and then buffed them up to become his vessels of destruction or whatever. Because as far as I know, Overgrown Rover's origin hasn't been explained. Like, I don't think he was an experiment of Psychos's, the way that a few other of the monsters in the Monster Association were, such as like Evil Natural Water. I could be wrong, but I don't think Psycho said that she made Rover. And I think Butterfly DX, or Forte, one of the guys who like kind of take after Rover, one of Saitama's neighbors in the Hero Association, said that he was like 4 months old. And if we're going by the timeline, he was made like, I guess 1 month before season 3 or something. So it's possible that Rover was made by God the same way that these creatures are implied to be. I also think Black S is a result of God directly trying to make a monster. Now, if you're thinking like, where did Black S come from? You know, take a guess. But I doubt this tiger and turtle are really going to last very long, especially with Saitama and Blast there. They'll wind up getting defeated, I guess, and then I guess we're going to get some more exposition from Blast about what's going on with God and all that stuff, and why he has to stay at his post. And then I guess Empty Void might appear at this point and then escape, or just get taken into the Hero Association by Blast and then put into, you know, that program to reverse his monsterization. But then the whole thing about Rover being here and having like that beam clash with these monsters, maybe God looks at Rover and he's like, oh, hey, I forgot about you. And then that goes into our Cosmic Rover theory. I don't think it's going to happen now, but maybe it eventually will. Like, God makes Rover his super avatar or something. But let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the comments. If you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.